Hello and welcome to Summit Life. I'm so glad that you've joined us. My name is Abidemi, Nwator, and this is Summit Life. With me today on the set is Dr. Princewill Nwator. Welcome to this set.
Thank you very much for having me. And
the last time Dr. Princewill was on the set, we were looking at, the feedback from you guys. And I must say, it's so good and so encouraging when anytime we hear somebody send either a text or an email or a phone call to say how Summit Life is really blessing you. We're always so encouraged by that. We want to know if you know you've been blessed through these programs and you've not been in touch to express that, to let us know, please do so, because we're really waiting for you. We want to know that this is being a blessing to you. And because it helps us. It helps us to know that you're being helped, that you're being touched, and that God's will is being done through the broadcasts. Okay, so keep the feedback coming, okay? Right, today again, Dr. Princewill is joining me because we want to continue with that feedback aspect of things. Some of the questions that we're not able to treat during the last series of feedback, we're going to hopefully treat them in the next couple of episodes. So today we're going to start with the questions that were raised about the other aspects of the ministry. Okay, yes, we do the media aspect, that you're watching now, Summit Life. But that's not all that Summit Ministries is about. In fact, we do a lot of work with prisons, and we do a lot of work with the poor as well. In fact, in Matthew 25, verse 35, which happens to be the key scripture that the Lord gave us when it comes to the ministry, where he said, that some people it will separate people on the last day. Those who when they saw him, when they saw him in prison, they came to visit. Those when they saw him when he was hungry, they fed him. When in all these different circumstances, that those were the ones who did the right thing. But those who did not do the right thing. So how has Dr. Princewill, how in your own, how you see it, how has that helped to shape the ministry and how we do things in the ministry?
Yeah, I think when we were deciding which area to actually go, one of the things there is that the Lord opened a way for us. We keep reading that Matthew 25. And if we start the Matthew 25 from verse 31, where they say the Lord, the shepherd separated the sheep to his right-hand side and the goat on his left-hand side. Then you begin to see, and they said, when the Lord begin to itemize what they have done, why they were separated in different ways. And the Lord said, when I was in the hospital, you visited me. Yeah. When I was naked, you clothed me. When I was in prison, you came to visit me. Then I look at this whole area. Someone who is naked, when you give him clothes, he still have his freedom. He still walked around and comes to you. Those in prison will be healed. They go back to their house. They still have those in the hospital, they'll be healed. They go back to their houses. They'll be happy. They'll be okay. But those in prison, they have been confined to that environment. And their rights have been curtailed because of what they have done. And therefore, they come down there. And so they need encouragement. You see, another thing, when you look at when they want to go to work, if they finished and they go to a place where they want to work, first of all, one of the questions on the paper will be, have you been convicted before? And when they put that on, that's just like a stigma on them. And so what we do is to go and encourage them, to tell them that there is hope, like Jeremiah 29:11, where he said that God says, I know the plans I have for you, not plans of evil, but of good, and of a future and a hope for you. And so we try to, when we go into the prison, we try to encourage them with this word, because some of them are really downcast. They just be, you see, those who have just come for the first time, it takes a lot of time to try and encourage them to do what they're supposed to know that God cares for them so much. In fact, as a matter of fact, before you know it, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, they begin to get themselves. They know that, wow, there is someone who really loves us, not because we love him so much, but someone who loved us the way we are. Sometimes we tell them that the love of God is so high, so wide, and so deep that you cannot get out of it. And if you are watching us today, you cannot get out of the love of God.
Amen.
Because God loves you so much. And so that's what we tell them. And when you see them, they are really happy. And another thing that came to mind concerning us, that when we keep reading that, and the Lord said, when the Lord was answering it, if you take time and read that chapter, the Lord says, when you give these little ones, the clothes and everything that you do to them, that you are actually doing it to me. That means whatsoever you are doing to the people in prison, or people in the hospital, or people that are naked, or those disadvantaged people in our societies, God says you are actually doing it to him. So we take another look at the prison now. So when we are going into the prison, we are going there to visit Jesus.
Hallelujah.
And so it takes a different thing. When you go there to visit Jesus, just like Jesus has been waiting for you for the whole weeks, and you go there and visit Jesus. I remember, that's the thing. I remember the day I couldn't go, and the team went. When they got there, they started, where is Prince? Where is Prince? And it gave me a lot of joy. I look forward going there to encourage them. I look forward going there. It was a lot of joy for me to go there and encourage them.
Wow.
So indeed, I am really going there to visit Jesus. Hallelujah.
That's powerful. It reminds me of, one story of this lady that's a child of God, obviously.
Yeah.
And she had been praying that Jesus would come and visit her. Jesus would come and visit her. So Jesus said one day that he was coming to visit her. Okay. So he said, oh, Jesus is coming. So she prepared everything, prepared the food, made everywhere sparkling. Nobody could, dirty anything. So she was waiting and waiting for the Lord. And then I think they said one a tramp or whatever, outcast or whatever, came knocking on the door. And when the ladies opened the door and saw the tramp, just shouted the guy away and said, you should just go away and leave her alone. She's waiting for Jesus to come. So she came inside again, waiting. And I think another person came. She wasn't expecting them to come in that form. Until finally she was so disappointed and said, Lord, why did you do this to me? Why did you keep me waiting? You promised that you were going to come and you didn't come. And the Lord told her that, look, I came to you 3 different times. He said, when? I never saw you. You never came to me. And the Lord told him that, look, when this person came, it was me that came. When that person came, it was me that came. When another person came, it was me that came. So, that's just another way of seeing this, this aspect of, because that really had an impact on me as well. The fact that when you go into the prison, you're actually going to minister to Jesus.
Yeah.
That is so powerful. I'm sure every single child of God out there, you want to minister to Jesus. He loves us, for God's sake. He gave his life for us, so you want to do anything for him. So, when you get involved in this aspect of things, one thing I find is that unless the Lord actually touches people's hearts, it's very, very difficult to get into this area of ministry.
Yeah.
It's easier to, just go to church and enjoy the fellowship and so on and so forth. But when the Lord touches your heart and shows you this aspect of things, it brings so much joy. Especially when you know that you are being a blessing to him. Yeah,
that's very true. One thing from the story you just shared, I want to just share something where I think I saw it somewhere. A pastor of a church, he really wanted to see how their members will treat those who are not dressed the way they are, with your suit, with your tie, and with everything, And if you see someone, maybe a torn clothes, torn shoe, and everything coming to you, you just want to wait. I wish this person just walk past me. I hope he's not coming to sit very close to me. That's what we do. But that day, the pastor what I would say, he just dressed differently, like a tramp or something like that, put on something. And he went into the church, it's a big church. He went.
Actually, sorry to cut in. Yeah. He was actually lying in front of the church for a while, and people were just passing by. They just ignored him.
No one cares about it. People are just running down to do what they want to do other things. Maybe set the music, this thing going, set this thing. People are dressed nicely and everything. And then this guy was just there. No one cared. When he got up to sit somewhere, the person moved away, and he moved again. He went to another place. The person moved away. And the third time, and finally the pastor actually came, climbed, the man actually climbed, removed everything. And
when he was actually climbing, I remember they were trying, the church police, they were trying to get him away from going to the
They were trying to take him away from the pulpit. And when he removed everything, everyone saw and everyone was touched. Because touched in a way, some people were ashamed because this is the way you treat people. It's just like you are in your house. You come to the church every day. And when you get to the church, you pretend to be what you are not. But the most important thing that God wants is for us to be ourselves in everything that we do.
Yeah.
Actually, the church is meant for the prostitute. The church is meant for the tramp. The church is meant for the homeless. The church is meant for every people that society have decided to cast away. That's the people that church is meant for. So the church is not meant for, church is good for all of us, but let's embrace these people when they come in. Let's embrace them. Let's feel them. Let them see, because they are not advantaged as you are. To sit in a nice place, to have a nice suit, to have a nice house. But God, this is what God looks at. God looks at those things, and it touches the heart of God very much. Remember, the other time, God said, we come with the idea now that we are going to the prison to see Jesus. You know, can you say Jesus in the prison? No. But Jesus said, when you do every little thing you do to this very one, it comes to him. But you know, we talk about faith and actions. Faith without action is dead. That's right. Faith with action is life. And faith only cannot work on its own. We need to have that action within us, to look to desire to look for people to help. You know, I remember listening also to Revelation TV sometime and seeing Leslie going to Rwanda with the lady, with the children and everything, and how she hugged one baby. The baby wasn't dressing anything. He carried the baby up, he hugged the baby, and I just looked. I was just feeling, tears were just running. I wished I am there to help. That is where my desire is always, to see that we help the people, to see that we help. And that's what is happening. And God takes it very, very highly. God likes it very much when we do things like that. When we do things, not in a place where people can praise us, but we do things because we know God is happy with what we do and is there with us. Don't forget, God is always there with you. If you are a Christian, whether you are sleeping, whether you are riding, whether you are driving, He's there with you. So He sees what you do every time. Yeah. And He commends you for that. Amen. And so I think it's a good thing for us to begin to look differently and look at areas where God is pleased when we do those things, helping the people. It wasn't the opposite. It wasn't that some of them caused the problem, some of them didn't cause their problem, but we must look at these areas and then pray and let God help you out in most of these places. Amen. Amen.
Now, another thing, that comes to my mind is the fact that, okay, it's good to say, okay, we know we're going in there to minister to Jesus, but actually, Jesus is at work in the prisons. Yeah. You see, some of those people, when they're outside, they won't listen to him. And he loves them so much. Yeah. That's why there's been a lot of conversion stories coming out of the prisons, In fact, there have been so many really influential people whose lives have been turned around when they were in prison. Yeah. Because Jesus is at work in the prison. Yeah. The prison environment, to be quite honest with you, in fact, one of the questions that we have here is that how did we get into prison work in the UK, prison ministry in the UK here? You see, the prison is one of the most, I'm talking about a spiritual environment now. I'm not saying in terms of what facilities are there or not. In fact, believe me, when we go into some prisons in the UK here, they're better equipped than even people's homes.
Yeah.
You see settees that you're wondering. You know, they're much better than the ones that people have in their homes, well equipped and everything like that. But just the environment, you know, that's environment that limits them. You know, that environment that, you know, they can't do all the things they want to do when they want to do it. Do you understand? You know, that in itself. I remember when I first went into a prison environment, you know, this was talking about how we first started going to a prison ministry. I just went into the prison to go and work, you know, as a healthcare person. And the minute I walked into that prison, it was like I sensed some heaviness just come over me. And I'm wondering, what is this? You know, that kind of stuff. It was not a physical thing. It was more of a spiritual thing. It's like you feel a sense of heaviness just come over you. And I'm just wondering, you know, what, you know, that kind of stuff. So I was working, doing my work and everything like that. All of a sudden, it just, you know, hit me, you know, like it's as if I picked it up in the spirit that that is what hopelessness feels like. You know, as long as people have hope, you understand? When there is hope, there is life. But when people lose hope, that's when things skyrocket and, you know, go down to the realm of people wanting to commit suicide and so on and so on. Because hopelessness is a terrible situation. And the environment, in a prison environment, in hospitals, in these particular places where Jesus said that we should go in and minister to him, there is so much hopelessness there. That's why it's such a privilege to go in there and bring hope to the people, like you were saying. So that's how I got, you know, we got started in ministry, in the prison ministry. So following this sense of heaviness, of hopelessness, when I picked it up, it was actually hopelessness. So I began to ask questions that do people come in here to come and minister to prisoners? And because I wasn't aware of what was going on in the prison ministry that time. So I asked a few questions. They said, oh, there's a chaplaincy. So I went into the chaplaincy during my break to go and find out who's the chaplain, how do things work here? Do you have people coming in to minister to the prisoners and so on? And the chaplain, bless his heart, was such a fine man of God. So he was telling me all these things, you know. And from there, you know, I made inquiries as to if we want to come in and really just share hope with the inmates and so on. And from there, you know, that's how we ended up going into the prison, isn't it?
Yeah. And I also remember that the chaplain was so nice.
Yes.
That he had a book too. The workload was just too much for him alone to do the job. He had books for like Bible study books that he said, listen, if you want this, you can take this and start with this. And you remember that's about 12 years ago. And since then, we have been going in, we have been encouraging people, and our eyes have actually seen progress in the life of those that we have encouraged. They've gone out and they become great. Their children have gone to schools, graduated, have beautiful, wonderful job, you know, for themselves. And but you see, the first time when you go there, you see hopelessness. You see people crying because, especially those who have been there for the first time, maybe for the first night, you see them crying and weeping, and we just stand there and just pray. We actually pray before going in. Because once we stand there, we looked at them. Sometimes when I stand there, I looked at them and say, listen, you people are the most beautiful people I can see on the earth. And you can see their face lifted up like this, and they looked at us. I say, yes. And I repeat the thing again. And they are very happy to hear that. You know, when you say, God loves you so much that you are the most beautiful people, you are the most handsome people you can ever think about. I looked at every one of you. And I said, do you believe in this? They say, yes. Some of them will just keep quiet. I said, come on, let's put our hand together for Jesus. And you know, you begin to charge up, and God begins to charge them up. And it's find out that after some time, 1 week, 2 weeks, as they're coming, their faith start becoming brighter. They are receiving from the Lord. And we are telling them, especially that Jeremiah 29:11, where he talked about hope. He talked about love. He talked about life. You know, he said that, and God said that, listen, I just want to give you hope and life. And just as you shared, I'm talking about the first time we came and everything, and when we begin to give them this and speak about this, the life that God is giving to them, I'll be there, and someone got a job. You know, in the prison there, someone got a job. They say the job was going to start from £19,000 per annum.
Wow.
And it's an airline that the person got the job for. And he shared this thing with us. And I was so thrilled. I was so happy. Because this is one of the things that people talked about. That, you know, when you go to prison, and that's one of the things that is sitting in their heart, that once they come to prison, once they step out there will be no hope for them. But no, there is hope for them.
Yes.
Because right in the prison there, that person got that job. And we were so happy, we were thrilled about that. Because he got a job from an airline, this thing, and they said after 2 years, they're going to increase it to £28,000.
Wow, praise God.
This is the prison that, imagine if you are not going there to encourage them.
Yes.
If you are not going there to encourage them, and that person, he may not have the ability, they said, to even fill the form. You know, to think about that, we say, number one, I have been in prison, so there is no hope for me. But that person got the job. This happened, and when he left, in fact, sometimes you are walking on the road, someone will just come to hug you.
Yes, that's happened a lot. That's happened a lot. I remember there was once, you know, somebody came up to you and said, called your name, and you're wondering, okay, how did I know this person? And I said, oh, don't you remember me? In the prison, mention the name of the prison, and so on and so forth. You see, we're not, let me make it very plain, we're not the only ones going to prison, right?
Yeah.
In fact, we go together with a ministry called Compassion Prison Ministries, you know, and the things, you know, we do in the prison, the one you've talked about extensively, how we minister to the people, how we share the gospel with them, encourage them, bring them hope, basically. You understand? Because you see, there are many other things that go on in prison, like they have opportunity to be able to improve themselves, to be able to acquire, to study for degrees, you know, so many different things that go on in the prison there. But we feel that when we add our own aspect of giving them hope, okay? Hope does not disappoint. That's what the Bible says. Because the love of God is shed abroad in our hearts.
In our hearts, You
see, they may be getting the education, getting this, and the minute they leave the prison, sometimes they're back again. But when they have an encounter with Jesus, the one who gives hope, the one who is able to change lives, he changes their hearts, right? He puts his love, pours his love into their hearts. So they are full of hope, you know. They are able to take advantage of all the opportunities that are there for them in the prison to be able to improve themselves. And for instance, like that one getting a job. Another aspect that we do is, you know, like when they leave prison, we help them. We do follow up in the sense of helping them to, you know, to resettle in the community, helping them with, you know, how to get jobs, helping them with so many different ways that we connect them to different other, you know, churches and so on, where they can settle.
And you remember there was one who came there. When he came there, he's never been to school at all. And because of the opportunity given to them in the prison, just like a comprehensive grammar school where you do carpentry and all those things.
Okay, all those skills.
Something like that, all those skills. Then the person started with computing, and he was doing very well. And he went to mathematics, and he was doing very well too. And so he was just like the first person in computing and mathematics. When the person actually went out of the prison, he applied and he did a BSc in mathematics.
Wow.
This is someone who has never been to school before. But he applied, got a BSc in mathematics, and he was the best computers students too. And so today, the person is working. So this opportunity given to them there is really great. We encourage them to go into it. And you see, people who are outside, when they want to go and learn some skill like that, they have to pay for it. But in this place, you don't have to pay for the skill. You just learn the skill, and when you go out, you can improve on it or take it to the next level or be a practitioner of it.
Yeah.
And then you can start doing something. And it's really great. So the whole idea of staying in the prison, not doing anything, coming out, and you find out that those who you are at the same level has gone higher than you, and probably that one discourages you. So you want to offend again to go back to the place. And that's like the enemy trying to push you down and down and down and down.
Well, thanks be to Jesus.
Yeah, but that's have changed. Thank God to Jesus. Jesus have made sure that the Ministry of Justice has actually introduced all those things into the prison, and it's really helping.
Sorry, we have to continue in the next episode, but our time is really fully spent.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, the gist of the matter is this, that, look, we take Jesus to the prison, and we go in there to minister to Jesus. Amen? And we're seeing amazing things happen. People's lives are being radically changed by the love of God. They're encountering the love of God.
Yeah.
You know, their hope is being put into their hearts. They are changing their lives, you know, because they're coming into contact with Jesus. This is what God is helping us to do, and it's just a great pleasure for us to be able to do it. And that's what we've been doing here in the UK. I think during the next episode, we'll talk about, you know, our prison work outside the UK as well.
Yeah.
Okay? Because, you see, when God wants to do something, it always, you know, you can't even imagine what extent he wants to take it to. You can't even imagine how far he wants to take it to. You just take the first step with him, and then you will see how he's going to open the way, and you continue to increase and improve in whatever it is committed into your hands. I just want to encourage you today. If you're out there, you know, and you are a child of God, you have the opportunity to take the hope of God to all those around you, especially to those who are not on the same level as you. The down and out, the hungry, the hospitalized, the imprisoned. In every way you can do, share the love of God and share hope with people. Because those people you see today, their lives are meant to be transformed according to the plans of God. So, this is Abidemi Nwator, thanking you so much for joining us. And from me, and
God bless you.
God bless you so much. We are so grateful that you watched. Join us next time as we continue telling you more about our prison work. God bless you. Thank you so much for joining us.